This is Deanna.
This is Candice.
And you're listening to
No Fucking Way. 99. Is this 99?
199.
Oh, 199. That's what I meant. Yowza.
We're at 199, guys.
Yowza. That's crazy. We have a special surprise in store for everyone for 200. I'm so excited about.
Well, we talked about it last time, so they know.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Wait, I don't remember if that was recorded.
No, it definitely was not.
You sure?
I'm positive. I'm
I'll
positive that wasn't. I don't know who I'll ask, but I'm positive. It was so much later in the episode. Or so much later we were sitting here talking. Anyway, we were just talking about our hometown had an active shooter today at the high school, which was it's everywhere. It's taken over everything. It's so weird to see like Winder, Georgia posted by like the New York Post and the president who's probably sleepwalking when he posted it, but it's still weird to see like Appalachia and Winder, Georgia on all
I know. I mean, people, it's so
blogs.
cliche. People say it all the time, but you never think something like that's going to happen where you live.
I know. All the like too close to home. That is our home.
Yeah.
You know? Just yeah. Yeah, it will happen. It will. And I was on the phone with my mom today and she was like, stuff like this, her work is on the same road. And so her work was on lockdown and they let her leave. And she was like, stuff like this just doesn't happen here. And I said, it does. It just hasn't yet. You know, it happens. It's everywhere. It is going to happen everywhere. It's awful. Do you have anything else? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't either. We went to Avril Lavigne last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went to Avril Lavigne last night. I saw today when I posted our picture, I saw so many people that I knew went that I didn't know was going.
Oh, yeah. I saw someone comment that somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what? Also, I want to mention real quick while we're here at the 2-minute mark. If you're listening now and maybe you're a longtime fan of the show or maybe you're new here, welcome. And we do put timestamps in the description of the episode if you want to skip past our chit chat. We've gotten some complaints recently from newcomers that we talk too much on a podcast. And so I just wanted to reiterate that. I get it. You know, if you don't know us, if you haven't been a listener for a while, it probably is pretty boring.
Right. I do understand. And you can tell that, I mean, I can tell anyway, I'm sure you can too, that the comments complaining about our banter in the beginning are people who have learned about a topic and look up a podcast that's covered it. They come here specifically for that episode, and then we're talking about like cats and hair and what we did last week. And I understand that that's not important. If you've never heard us talk before, I wouldn't give a shit either. I've done the same thing with podcasts before.
Yeah, I know.
Where I go to a podcast and I'm like, what the hell? This is horrible. I've not left a review. But I do understand wanting to just get to the episode, and they are timestamped. I'm gonna make a post on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Make a post that you don't have to listen to this. You can go straight to the story. You also can go straight to the story. You also can stop listening and not leave a review. You can just stop listening and go to the next podcast that's covering the topic that you searched.
We did also get another, and this has been a complaint before, an interesting complaint, in my opinion, that we cuss too much. And, you know, there is a cuss word in the title of the show. I just wanted to throw that out there. So it shouldn't be a surprise. I also don't think that I don't think we're that bad.
I was actually offended because they specifically said that we cuss unnecessarily.
Yeah, it was every other word.
I don't feel like I do that.
Maybe if we were heated about something,
I don't think
because
I've
I know
even
I
said a
can do
cuss
that sometimes.
I don't think I've even said a cuss word since we started recording.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Anyway,
Let's start adding
I'm
a
gonna
cuss word count.
yeah, I'm gonna get a swear jar and we'll be sure
You're
to
right,
donate
though.
to it.
It's called No Fucking Way. You're gonna leave a review that we said a cuss word? Okay. Just stop leaving reviews. Just comment on the story. Oh my god, you guys cuss so much, not listening anymore.
Yeah.
Stop putting it in a review.
So with that being said, guys, we got like some negative reviews bogging us down, and we're at like
Who?
a 4.1 now in the
No.
Apple iTunes or Apple podcast. So I need the lovers of the show, not the haters, but I need the lovers to go in and give us 5 stars.
Yeah. If you go
Um,
out this weekend, take someone's phone, give us 5
yeah,
stars, do whatever you have to do. If we get to 3.9, we're quitting.
yeah. I know. I'm gonna be so upset if we get to
I'm not
3.9.
I'm not gonna be in the threes. I'm gonna get a family phone plan and add people to it and add phones and leave my own. 3.9 and we're out. So stop putting your complaints in fucking reviews and email us.
No.
We have an email. I actually archived the Facebook because nobody goes on Facebook, and the last post was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I
But
don't do Facebook.
I'll put my phone number on here. Text me directly. Stop leaving reviews. It doesn't help people. It doesn't help people for you to leave a review saying too much cussing. That's not helpful to someone. When there's a cuss word in the title, just like you said, that's not helpful. Reviews need to be
Exactly.
reviews are to help other listeners. You got me heated. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm glad you said it.
But yeah, that's all I have.
Oh, I wish
Do you
I
have
had some.
anything?
No, I have a story for you.
Oh.
I wish I had a. Oh,
Yay!
yay! I'm back. The only chapstick I have in here is my hot pink chapstick. Remember the tinted one we were talking
Oh
about?
yeah.
It's horrible. I'd rather have dry lips. Okay, so I am just going to start reading the story because I feel like a lot of people know this. And I also was aware of it, but I thought it was completely different than what it actually is because I never really looked into it. I just assumed. But this is a well known story. People know it. And it's not my whole story, it's just like a big part of it. Um, so it's about a woman named Tanya, and she comes from a rich family, and she had a most of my information is from howandwhy.com, by the way, because I took a lot of stuff like verbatim from there, so I wanted to state that. So Tanya comes from a rich family. She had a very privileged childhood growing up on a farm in Mallorca. She spent her time riding rare Arabian stallions. She had lots of friends, rich boyfriends. She studied at the Assad Business
Okay, Tanya,
School.
living the dream.
I know. Business school in Barcelona, working on getting her MBA. She also studied some at Harvard and Stanford. In 2001, at 28 years old, she moved to Manhattan and she got an apartment in Midtown. She meets and marries a man named David. At some point, the timeline of their marriage is like non existent. But she met and married this man very quickly when she moved here. So at 8:46 a.m. on September 11th, 2001, Tanya was leading a meeting at Merrill Lynch on the 78th floor of the South Tower when the first plane hits the neighboring North Tower, where her husband Dave is working on the 100th floor above where the plane hits. Then at 9:02, when the second plane hit the South Tower, Tanya was thrown into a whirlwind of chaos, confusion, and a fight for her life. Tanya witnesses her assistant, Christine, be decapitated before her very eyes by the wing of the plane. Her own arm, almost severed, was being badly burned as she tried to get away from the flames surrounding her. Witnessing horrific carnage, a man fought his way out from under the debris, who sees Tanya making a run for it. I think it's Tanya, actually. Tanya or Tanya? I'm not really sure. Um, he sees her making a run for it, takes off his wedding ring, and asks her to please give it to his wife. Tanya can hardly see through the smoke, but she takes a moment with the man who's inevitably going to lose his life. The next thing Tanya remembers is waking up 6 hours later in a burn unit at the hospital. And this is where she learns that her husband Dave had more than likely died in the attacks. And she learns all about the attacks on September 11th. She says, quote, I looked around and it was like a horror movie. People were mounted on top of each other, the smell of burned skin and people's insides. I was gagging. I kept thinking about my fiance and about our wedding. I wanted to wear that white dress and swear my love for him one more time. Tanya's story is one of many. And over the years, a group formed called the World Trade Center Survivors Network and she became a helping hand to its founder, Gary Bogax. Among the 500 survivors that were in the support group who shared their stories, Tanya's obviously stood out. Despite her traumatic tale, Tanya actively supported the survivors group by preparing materials, hosting fundraisers, creating meeting agendas, and even using her own money to fund specialized trauma experts. Through her work, Tanya also secured state funding for the Survivors Network. But as her story gained worldwide media attention, the details Tanya added to her story stirred up suspicion from other survivors. One survivor noted how her arm injury was not consistent with burns, while others questioned why she never brought her friends to support sessions. Despite their doubts, no one ever confronted her for fear of being like rude or insensitive. Few
Yeah,
of
no one wants to be like, "You're faking it."
Was that your left arm or your right arm? Few of the survivors were willing to question her when the occasional inconsistency appeared in her story, like when she referred to the man who died in the North Tower as her husband to some people and as her fiance to others.
Yeah, I
But then
noticed that when
again,
you were telling it in the beginning.
yeah, but then again, like, hasn't she been through enough?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
And
be
also,
like,
sometimes people will like call someone that they've been with for a really long time their husband or their wife, even though
right,
they're not actually married, or they
right,
might call a fiance that just because, well, soon enough they'll be my wife or whatever.
right. I'm not gonna be like, well, was it your fiance or your husband? The New York Times was looking for an inspiring profile to accompany its sixth anniversary coverage in 2007. Several members recommended Tanya. They did their normal background checking, just average background checking, like nothing. They didn't do like a deep dive into her. And just on the surface, things started to not check out. Tanya claimed to have gone to Harvard and Stanford and to be working at the World Trade Center for Merrill Lynch, and none of those institutions had any record of her. Her amazing story was a lie, a, a betrayal that caused terrible pain to people in her life, yet many people felt that she had actually done a great deal of good for the survivors. Survivors
Yeah.
continue to say that a great deal of their healing came from Tanya helping them and from Tanya helping get the validation that they needed. Her real name wasn't even Tanya, it was Alicia. As
Damn,
for
her
her
whole life's a lie.
right. And as for her husband David, he existed. His name was David Suarez, but he had no relationship with Tanya at all. He didn't even know her. Um he did
Oh.
pass away in 9/11, but he has no recollection. Like he has no relationship with her, no relation to her, no friendship with her, nothing. It's like she just found a story or found a name and
Yeah.
just, like, ran with it.
So she
Um,
wasn't there at all, or
no, she was in Barcelona on 9/11. Yeah, she wasn't even in the US.
damn.
I know. Um, Friends of hers had witnessed her crying at David's name on the memorial wall dedicated to 9/11 victims and speaking to his name, and she didn't even know him. She never took any money from the Survivors Foundation or the people she was fooling, and she somehow did more good than bad. Very clear
Yeah.
that it was just all
I'm
for
conflicted.
right, it was just all for attention. And there is a documentary called The Woman Who Wasn't There that's about her.
Yeah, I've seen that, like, advertised. I haven't, watched
Okay,
it, though.
I thought it was, like, thousands of stories that people have told where they were like, "Oh, I missed my flight. I should have," like, that was
Oh,
my
yeah.
thought, I
I should
thought,
have been
like,
me.
yes, like, my kid was, we woke up late for school, and so I got my kid late to school, so I had to check him in, and then I got to work late, like, after the attacks kind of thing, like, she
Mhm.
wasn't that's what I thought it was. Um, so she's changed her name again, um, and no one has seen or heard from her in years, and no one knows where she is. So she's one of many survivor stories, whether hers is true or not. She's also one of many people who lied about being a 9/11. So why do people lie? Like, why? I know we've covered, didn't you do a whole episode on just lying before, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I went back to that post. So this is from the New York Post by Jean Kim, and she's a writer and clinical assistant professor of psychiatry at George Washington University. She said, "The first time I heard a patient mention a relative who died in the World Trade Center attacks on 9/11, I felt the expected hushed sadness, a sore sorrow of what we were all still recovering from a couple months prior. I was a little perplexed, though, at the person's lack of emotion and matter of factness, but I dismissed it. I knew that everyone grieved in their own style, and I jotted down the information for his file. The second time a patient told me about a 9/11 death, and then the third with similar blankness, often accompanied by major problems such as homelessness, drug abuse, or depression, I started to wonder. I can recall at least 10 similar instances of people saying they had a sibling, a son, a daughter, a cousin, or parents who had died in the attack. Yes, it was a historic, catastrophic mass murder that claimed almost 3,000 lives, but New York was a huge city with millions of people. I could understand people saying they lived near the buildings, witnessed the horrible collapse, inhaled the burning chemical toxic smoke afterward, or even that they knew survivors. I went on a date with a guy who had just missed being on the flight that crashed in Pennsylvania, so coincidences weren't impossible. But oftentimes, the stories did not hold up. One had a tale about a grown child recovering in a burn unit, but the hospital that he was at kept changing each time she told it. When I called the most recent hospital she'd mentioned, they had no record of her son. Another patient claimed to have had parents on one of the planes that crashed, but later admitted that it wasn't true. My cynicism started to creep forth. I began calling it myself the 9/11 sign. Anyone with a report of a 9/11 death in their history was likely seeking some sort of secondary gain, at best in the form of greater sympathy in the face of a multitude of other tough psychosocial stressors in their lives, or at worst, to get controlled substances or even to
Mhm.
apply for special 9/11 benefits."
I and I'm not saying I get it, uh, in a way that I condone it, but I'm saying, like, if you're getting money from the benefits or if you're getting drugs or whatever, I get lying in that sense because obviously you're you're actually getting something from it. But like the people who just lie for the sympathy or
Yes,
whatever, like that
like
is so
Tanya,
fucking creepy to me.
like Tanya, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone someone that's addicted to drugs lying to get drugs, you wouldn't
Yeah, that's not it's
that
not
all
shocking.
right, that pans out, that makes perfect sense. It's still fucked up, and,
Right.
like, getting benefits, I don't even know what the benefits were, but I should have looked it up, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that type of, like, guilt that there would
Yeah.
be so much guilt attached to that if you were in your right mind, which they are not.
Right.
So, like, hearing about this is way worse than, the people doing this don't feel that, obviously. Steve Ranazasi, he's a comedian. Have you heard of him?
I don't think so, but maybe if I saw him, I'd
So
recognize
he
him.
I didn't recognize him either and had not heard of him, but he apparently lied for years about he's a stand-up comedian, and he even had a bit about it, about escaping the towers. Um, he he eventually said, like, "It's not true, it didn't happen," and for some not for some reason, obviously so Pete Davidson, who's also a stand-up comedian, his dad
Right.
did actually die in 9/11. So, a lot of people were, like, adding him and tagging him in this guy's story, and he finally did make a statement. This was, like, 10 years ago when this all came out. He did finally make a statement, Pete Davidson did, and he was like, it was something on Twitter, and he just added this, this comedian, Steve, and he's like, "Give him a break. I'm not mad." People were, like, taking up for Pete Davidson, saying, like, "Isn't this fucked up? Aren't you so pissed at this guy?"
Yeah.
So he was saying, like, "I'm not. I understand it. Like, give him a break. It's a funny bit. It's
Yeah.
weird to say it's true, but just I'm not mad. You shouldn't be mad." He's apologized, like, genuinely, so just let it
Yeah.
go. And then he said, "Gotta go now to meet my dad for lunch."
That's
Um,
so that's I kind of get it because like in that context it's like you tell this funny story
yeah.
and then people are like, "Oh my god, that really happened?" Like you really
Right.
almost like you really barely escaped and
Right.
you're caught up in the moment and you're just like, yeah." Like
Right.
I don't know, I kind of get
And
it.
any comedian that you've ever heard, have you ever fact checked them? You just assume that it's either real or a joke.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like a lot of what they talk about is almost like a little fabricated, like it's a little
100%.
it's not completely true.
Right, exactly. So you don't just I hate the saying, like, take it with a grain of salt, but, like, I would never hear something a comedian was saying and go, like, fact check them and, like, do a background check on them. So I don't
Right.
know how this actually came out unless he was pushing it in a way that he probably shouldn't have been. Um, so, um, this woman, the article that I was reading, she goes on to say that she was not shocked about learning about, Tanya's story, and then I think you brought this up too when you did the episode about lying, conscious versus unconscious lying.
Mhm.
So, unconscious is related to strong unmet needs during childhood, such as neglect or abuse, leading to an ongoing drive to seek forms of care and affection in self destructive and manipulative ways. Tanya falls into this category by people that have like studied ever and I'm just giving you like the tip of the iceberg of it. I mean, this went on for 7 years. I mean,
Yeah.
she was highly involved in lives of people whose loved ones had actually died in 9/11. Like, she was highly involved in so many organizations and, like, she was like the face of Survivor.
But do you think that she got to the point where she, like, believed her lie?
Yes, yes, and so that goes into, yes, absolutely. I think she absolutely believed what she was saying. I mean, you tell a lie for 7 years? If I told a lie for 1 hour, I would start to believe myself. So conscious lying turn were you gonna say something?
I was just, like, thinking something like that big, though, like,
I know.
I don't know if I could convince myself, but,
But also I see what you're saying.
like, I would still know I might be more comfortable with the lie. I might
Wait,
be
wait,
more
wait.
comfortable telling the lie, but,
Okay.
like, I would never get to the point where I'd be like, "Yeah, I really had a husband named David, died in 9/11."
Yes, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I retract what I just said. I don't think that she thinks she was a part of the attacks in 9/11. I don't
Oh,
think that.
okay.
No, I don't think that. I don't know why I said that. I think that she was so ahead of herself in a way where I think she believed her lie so well that there was no one that was going to question that this insane gut-wrenching story that you're telling is false. So I think she believed her lie so well. I don't think that she actually believed that she was in 9/11. After does that make sense?
No, because she just believe you're saying she believed she could tell it so good, like, she was convincing enough, that
Yes.
was what
Yeah.
she believed,
Yes.
but
Yes.
she knew obviously, consciously, she knew that she
Right.
wasn't really there.
Right, but to me, like, if I'm her, like, the lie that I'm telling is foolproof, like, that is my shield, and, like,
Okay.
what is
Mhm.
behind it, you'll never find out. You'll never, like, fact check me. You'll never look up and see that I was actually in fucking Barcelona. I didn't even live in Manhattan.
Yeah.
You'll never know that because this is such a horrible, horrible thing that happened here. You're gonna question my story. My husband's dead. You
Yeah.
know, you're not gonna. I think she thought it was like a foolproof. I'm in this like so deep kind of thing where there was like no going back.
Yeah.
So conscious lying is also termed malingering in psychiatry, is known more commonly as being like a con man behavior, and is sometimes related to antisocial personality disorder. It's done for clear and conscious secondary gain, usually monetary, which the comedian Steven, that's kind of the category that he falls into.
Dee Dee
And
Blanchard.
yes. Yes. Yeah. I wonder which one my brother falls into. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. I am. I'm not. So 9/11 was a game changer for the American psyche, and this is the woman from the article that I'm reading. This is not me. She says it might have been a lightning rod for the particular sympathy lies it garnered. No other event has inspired so many false claims among my patients. We shouldn't necessarily feel enraged by the people who ride the coattails of sympathy, although it is tempting. These are usually ultimately sad, lonely, empty people who capitalize on the unprecedented capacity for charity. There's another like big story, I guess, about there's a janitor. He claimed to be a janitor from the World Trade Center. He that who survived, and he traveled the world and was wanted in so many places for interviews and photographed with like heads of the state and movie stars and um all based on like this like heroic like impossible hero story, and
Yeah.
he was a nobody. And
That's
then
so crazy.
I know, and then I listened to there's a podcast called Missing. I don't know if I'm not swayed enough either way, but I also couldn't finish it before this story before we're recording right now, but There's a podcast called Missing that talks about the possibility of a New York City doctor who lived near the towers and went missing on 9/11. Uh, um, so they're saying that she actually used the attacks to fake her own death,
Oh, that would
and
actually be pretty good.
but only based on the fact that they never found her body. They didn't
Yeah.
find they didn't find a lot of bodies. They found a lot of, like, pieces, but not enough to, like, put together a person, or not enough to even, like, kind of they never found any trace of her at all. But I agree, that would have been, especially in 2001, it would have been very easy to be, like, in Manhattan and decide right then and there to fake your death.
Yeah. I'd love to know how many people might have done that. I'd love to
Me
know
too.
how many people are lying about their survival of the
Me
incident.
too. And I never thought of that before until I found that episode of that
And
story
then,
about
what
it.
just occurred to me? What if there's people who lie about, like, they did survive the attack, but they don't want to tell people that because they don't want to, like, get into it. They're
Oh,
they're like,
just
I don't want to
people.
get into all the fucking the whole
Oh,
story.
yeah, just people among us who were there.
Yeah, people who were there and they, like,
Oh,
don't tell anyone that they were there.
could you imagine? Could you It's so fucking crazy that there's people like that who
Yeah,
were there on that day, all day, and what they saw that don't talk about it. And then there's people like Tanya Head
I know.
who wasn't there, who has made up the
Wasn't
most.
anywhere near it.
No,
Didn't
no,
even see
she
it.
wasn't even in this country, who made up the most a lot she's not even in the same time zone. She, like, woke
Who
up to it. It just blows my mind, but you would have to. I think this is a rare, if this did actually happen. Her name was, oh, fuck, I don't have her name. I'll post her name when I post the, I think it was, like, Sheena or something. I'll post her name when I post, for the episode, but no trace of her whatsoever, ever. And there's at least, like, a limb, um something, but also she didn't work in the towers, she just lived close by. She was just, like, in the area.
Mhm.
There were, like, surrounding buildings and, like, hotels and, like, shopping centers and things that were obviously destroyed when the towers fell. So, like, obviously people died in surrounding buildings if they hadn't already evacuated that weren't in the towers. So it is very possible that she was actually just down there, like, wrong place, wrong time situation, or if she just faked her. It was an interesting episode, um, of that podcast. I should go back and listen to some more. Um, so there was over oh so this goes back to me. I was kind of wondering. I think just the fact that they didn't find any trace of her or find her body, I'm like, that doesn't mean that she faked her death, and that she, because there were so many human remains. But then I went down this wormhole about all the remains that were found that they didn't. There was, like, over 1,000 human remains that were not identified. And in 2014, the unidentified remains were moved to a repository, which I've never even heard that word before, knew what that was. Do you? Did you?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
A repository? I'd never seen that word in my life. So I looked it up.
That's how I feel sometimes playing Wordle or playing Connections.
Yeah. So in 2014, the unidentified remains were moved to a repository located 70 feet underground within the structure of the 9/11 Memorial Museum, and it's closed off to the public, but by appointment, loved ones can visit a reflection room to spend time with the remains.
Oh.
But you have to spend time with all of them. 'cause
Yeah.
you don't know which remains are. What does that look like right now, though? What does that look like?
I don't I don't know if they show it. Do you think it's like clear glass or do you think it's like a box?
I don't know why for some reason I'm picturing the one of the worst places I've ever been to was the Holocaust Museum in DC, and there's this huge, like, aquarium looking thing, and it's just filled with shoes. Just shoes from people,
That's
probably
actually what I pictured too when you said that, but I
it's
bet it's like more like a
horrible.
closed, like a non-viewable.
And what, they're just, like the remains are just on the other side of the wall?
I just don't see them like putting it on display.
So, I wanted to look into this more. I'm gonna talk about 9/11 every single year.
But what if that's
There's
how I grieve? Like, what if I
Okay,
want to see
so there's, like, this petition because a lot of people who have or who have loved ones whose remains were never found are pissed off that they are not, like, on display or that they're not, like you can't get to them. You have to make an appointment. You have to go 70 feet underground. You have to they think if they're, like, more I don't know what they think. They just want them and they want them somewhere else. They don't want them so, like, disclosed in, like, a confined not disclosed, in, like, a confined place, I guess.
Mhm.
So but I can't picture it. I'm just picturing, like, an aquarium full of limbs, and I know that's not what it is.
I'm assuming it's just because they can't really like say this is so and so and this is so and so. Like they don't have enough information or whatever to
Would they not just would you not why would you not just cremate everything together? And it's like, "This is the
like
unidentified remains."
divide them up. Like give each person a little
Well,
bag of
no, I mean
ashes.
no, I mean for, like, what they're visiting, because I don't want a bunch of randos no, I don't. I don't know, because in my head, I'm thinking of, like, a huge aquarium of just body parts, and I know that's not what it is. So what if there was, like, a huge? Because you could put, like, a vase of ashes on display, and everyone can
Yeah.
just go and, like, pay their respects if it's for public viewing, you know? I don't know. Um, but one of the last things I saw that I thought was kind of funny is, this guy on Reddit said this was in regards to the Tanya Head situation, and he was like, "Well, I was born in Italy, so technically, if I would have been born in New York and my ancestors would have come over there when they had the chance, I would be a 9/11 survivor too." And he said, "Technically, we're all 9/11 survivors."
That's true. It's like the degrees of separation there.
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly right. I love talking about 9/11.
Yeah. I feel like we've kind of fallen off over the years. Like it used to be, I don't know if you remember, but in the earlier years, it was like all over social media. It'd always be never forget all this stuff. I feel like we've kind of forgotten over the last couple of
Do
years
you think?
because I haven't seen. Maybe it's because I'm not on Facebook,
Yeah,
but
it's because 'cause you're not on Facebook, but it's also because you're not on TikTok. I start seeing 9/11 shit on TikTok in July.
oh,
9/11 and
I see
Titanic.
9/11 memes and jokes, but I
I'm
don't
al
see
I'm
like.
I'm also fine with that because that's still letting me know that you've not forgotten. Whether it be a joke, a prayer, a thought, we just need to know that you've not forgotten.
I think one of my favorite memes right now is the one where like um people like set it up and I fall for it almost every time, but they're like, "Oh, this is me now. This is me in 2020. This is me in 2015. This is me in 2010." And then they'll be like, "This is me 9/11 2001." And they're just it doesn't matter what the subject is. one person was talking about like their sexuality throughout the years and all these things, right? And then for just randomly, me 9/11 2001. Oh my god, watching it on the TV.
Wait, how I not see? I've not seen that.
You haven't? Oh my god, the next
No.
one I come across, I'll send it to you.
No, I have no
There's
idea what you're
also
talking
this
about.
video. It is so fucking funny. It's probably not gonna be funny for me to just sit here and explain it, but I'm going to anyway. There's this woman, she's at Target. She's like, kids' toys these days are so crazy, like they're so fun. She's playing with like these little like kind of baby toys. It's like a little baby
Uh-huh.
guitar thing that looks like a
Uh-huh.
dog, and then there's this little guy, and you can record something and it'll turn it into a song, right? So she hits the button to record and she goes, they hit the fucking Pentagon. And then the little guy, the little like toy guy, he's like playing like music and it's like all remix sounding, but he's like, they hit the fucking Pentagon. And she's like, okay, we have to go. And she starts walking away. She's like, why was it so loud?
Wait, that's
But
funny.
it
I've
was
not
so
seen that either.
oh my god. I'll go through my liked stuff and see if I can find it because
Didn't I
oh my
send you
god.
that video? It's these two kids. They were not even alive in 2001, but they're just like walking down a school hallway and they're doing like jokes back and forth, like disses back and forth to each other. And but the one kid's recording it on his phone. And the kid says some kind of like he says a yo mama joke, like the first Yo Mama joke, like none of the other ones were about Yo
Yeah.
Mama. He says a Yo Mama joke, and the kid goes, "Oh, haha, 2001 called," and then it's just quiet, and he goes, "Oh, they just hit the second tower," and
Oh.
then the video ends. It's just nothing to do at all with 9/11, and then he just throws it in there. Ugh. I mean, you gotta laugh or you'll cry, right?
Yeah,
That phrase is always in the back of my mind. You have to laugh or you're gonna cry.
that's true.
Sometimes I do both. Okay, for this episode, we're doing some lip reading. So I think last time when we did this, you just turned on your mic, right?
Yeah, I just muted you.
Okay, do you have four?
Yeah, I do.
I have four too. Do you want to do all yours or do you want to go back and forth?
Um, let's just do them all.
Okay. Do you want you go first or me?
Yeah, I'll go first. Like I'm saying the thing, so you just
Shoot
like
me.
mute me.
Okay. Okay,
All
ready.
right, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, can you hear me?
Wait. Yes, I can hear you. Hold on. I'm stupid. Okay, go.
You look rode hard and put up wet.
You you
You look
okay,
rode hard and put
you
up
retard.
wet.
N- No. Okay. No.
hmm
Okay,
Look
you look
rode hard
you look real hot.
rode hard.
You look retarded. Oh no. You look real
Rode hard and put up wet.
you look hard and
Wet.
wet. You look hot. Deanna, what are you saying? I unmuted it.
You look rode hard and put up wet.
Oh my god! Oh, that's very close to what I was guessing. I was like,
It is, but it's so
holy
funny
shit!
because at the end you only got the dirty sounding parts.
Oh my god, I've never heard that saying before.
You've not?
No, you look rode hard and put up wet.
You have not heard that?
No, I don't even. Are you talking about laundry?
No, it's like when if you look like you've had a rough day,
I've
people will
never
say
heard
you
that.
look rode hard and put up wet. It means like you look like shit,
I have
you look like
never
you've
heard
been
that
through
before.
it.
I've never heard that before. Okay, next one.
Ready? It's blowing up a storm.
It's blue and it's warm.
Mm. It's blowing
It's
up,
about
blowing up
blown.
a storm.
Why are all yours sexual? It's
Blowing up a storm.
I have no idea what you're saying. What is it?
Blowing up a storm. It's blowing up a storm.
It's blowing up a storm.
My
No.
my theme is southern sayings.
Oh, it's blowing up a storm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Can't, never could.
Lights.
Can't, never could. I'm like trying to read my own lips while I'm doing it. Can't, never could.
Get.
This is hard, huh?
I have no idea. Say how many words? 3 words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say the first word.
Can't,
Next.
can't,
Test.
can't,
Less.
can't,
Le. Le.
can't,
What?
never,
Ever?
never,
Never? Okay, never.
could,
Never cook.
could,
Never what?
could,
Never
can't,
could.
never could,
Never could. Never could. Never.
can't,
Never could.
can't, never could,
Never could I ever. What is it?
can't, never could.
Can't ever could. I'm not 70. What's the last one? Oh, hold on. Let me mute. Okay, go.
Hold your horses.
Fold.
Hold,
Hold. Old.
hold,
Old.
hold
Hole. Hold. Hold.
your
My. Hold your. Hold your horses.
yeah.
Hold your horses. Oh my god.
That was harder than I
Holy
thought it was gonna be.
crap. Those are so hard. Mine are a little more up to date.
Okay. Well, you know what? I thought that you would get it because
I didn't. Okay, ready?
those are not things that your parents say every day.
No, the first one I've never heard. No, blowing up a storm. I've never heard that.
No, you've never heard of rode hard and put up wet.
Rode hard and put up wet, or blowing up a storm.
Oh.
Okay,
I
ready?
felt like that was a Suzanne saying.
Is that where you
It's
got those
blowing
from?
up a storm out there, honey. You be careful going home.
Yeah.
That sounds exactly like something your mom said to me the last time I saw her.
Is that where you got this list, my mom?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
All right.
Okay. Very demure.
Very.
Very
Okay.
demure. Demure.
Fairy godmother.
No. Very. V.
Very.
Very demure.
Simple.
Demure. Demure.
Very.
Demure.
Very feminine. Very.
Demure.
Fruity.
Demure.
I give up. What is it?
Demure.
Oh, damn it.
Okay. Okay, next one.
Okay.
Never
Never.
trust a fart.
Never trust a virgin.
Trust. Never trust.
Never
Trust
trust
a
a
fart.
fox. Butthole. Oh, never trust a fart.
Never trust a butthole. Oh my god. Never trust a butthole. Same thing. Same thing. Okay,
This is quality content, you guys.
isn't it? Okay. Ready? It's always the husband.
Start over.
It's
It's
always
always
the
the husband.
yes.
It's always the husband. That's what Candice thinks.
That's what 70% of our listeners think. Okay, ready?
All right, hang on.
Look at this photograph. Look
Look
at
at
this
this
photograph.
photograph.
I don't know why that always comes to mind.
Yours were so much better than mine. Now I feel bad. I thought that they were like
Yours were truly difficult. Truly.
I was like, what can
My
I
mom wouldn't guess those.
I don't know why, but I was like I had southern sayings was kind of like a thing on my mind, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do the southern sayings.
Yeah,
And so I
I'll just fuck her up. I'll just make her look so stupid.
How about this? That dog won't hunt. Would you have
No.
gotten that?
No, I would never guess that.
My eyeballs are floating.
No, Deanna. What year did this come out? The first Southern list of phrases that was ever on the internet. So difficult.
This is a photocopied piece of paper that was
Oh my
written with like a
god.
quill.
With a quill pen. Holy shit. Okay.
Some of these I truly haven't heard of either, but so I tried to pick ones that I felt like we would have heard. Like, so sorry.
No. That's okay. Anyway, you win. That wasn't planned at
Obviously,
all. Okay, thanks for
sabotage.
listening. Please go review positively.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Tell your friends. Take your husband's phone. Take your wife's phone. 5 stars, please. Thank you.
Okay, we love you.
Happy September 11th. Goodbye.
Bye.